Hi everyone, my name is Kalina. Welcome to Eye of the East Coast. Today we have a wonderful guest. We have Heather Hans, who is an incarnate angel here working on Earth. Hi Heather, how are you?
Good, thanks, Kalina. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We're excited to have you. We want, for the audience, can you please introduce yourself and just explain some of your work?
Sure. Like Kalina said, my name is Heather Hans. I am here on Earth to help people see themselves and the world through a divine lens, which means to see the highest vision of yourself and of life and of this world.
And we want to talk a bit about your work with your book, because you have a beautiful book out called, sorry, my computer's really slow.
No problem. The Heart of Self-Love.
The Heart of Self-Love. And can you tell the audience a wee bit about that?
Sure. That book is I consider it a nuts and bolts book about self-esteem and confidence. It has practical tips and tools on what people can do to feel good about themselves and feel good about life. So anyone who's struggled with self-esteem or finding meaning in life would be a good candidate to read that book.
And do you want to talk a little bit to the audience about, you're an incarnate angel. Can you explain to the audience what that is?
Yes. Basically, I came here with a very highly sensitive vibration. I can see beyond the veil. I can pick up on energy and the unseen realm very easily. So the way that I use it in my work is to understand people, understand their energy, and serve them in raising their energy by helping them see who they really are, which is usually a lot of people see themselves and life in a lower, denser, through a lower and denser lens than what's actually true. So I can help people see themselves from a higher perspective and from a bigger, broader, more empowered light.
Do you, where you're an incarnate angel, when you work with the other angels, do you have any stories that you want to share to the audience about that?
Working with other angels, well, I've certainly had a lot of angels in my life helping me and showing up in all sorts of mysterious ways. It took me a while on my journey to realize my own angelic qualities. But what I know is that this life is perfect, and that people are perfect. And a lot of people say, oh, nothing in life is perfect. You can't expect perfection. And rather than seeking perfection from what you think is perfect, trying to get things just right here on Earth, actually, everything is perfect. Everything people do is coming from a place of their soul. And so there's perfection in even atrocities, even the things we think of as horrors or heart-wrenching. There's a perfection to life. So the experiences I've had with other angels have been more like helpers to me on my own journey. When I work with the divine, it's more through a single source, one source that I connect with, rather than individual angels.
And for the audience, what would you recommend for them to connect to their perfection, or to understand, or to see their own perfection?
That when they're striving for perfection from the mind, some people call it the ego, but from the mind, it's like we want, our mind tends to define perfection in certain ways. If I get this job, if I make this much money, if I get these grades, all of those things are attempting to achieve perfection. And the reason people attempt to achieve perfection is because deep inside they know there is perfection, but it's not necessarily all of those things they're thinking of. That life and that who they are is perfect, period. They don't need to achieve perfection. They don't need to be perfection. They already are, and that there are no mistakes in life. They are living perfect beings. So people one thing people can do is to realize that it's not something outside of them that they need to achieve, that they already are in everything they do, especially the failures. The quote failures are perfect. They're exactly what their soul needs.
And for, because you're saying the divine, what is your understanding of the divine? Because I know everyone has different understandings, just for the listeners.
Sure. The divine is a greater intelligence. The divine includes the invisible. The divine is energy. So everything, science has proven now that everything is made up of energy. Some of the energy we can see, some we can't see. People are made up of energy. Tables are made up of energy. Those we can see. Other kind of energy, thoughts and feelings, we can't see as readily. But there is one single energy that we are all made up of, and it's good. And it's life force moving forward. It's an evolving goodness to life, and that's sourced by my definition.
And with the energy, what would you recommend to the listeners to connect more with this good energy, with the divine?
Well, there are a lot of practical things people can do on a daily basis. I mean, you have to set up your life so that you're able to receive divine energy. So that means, everything from having a good sound diet to exercising to meditating. Those are things that are kind of like basics that facilitate connecting. But the divinity is in every single moment. And religion actually means to do something religiously means to do it with great care, with great awareness, with an intention. So a person can connect to the divine when they're washing dishes, when they're doing something mundane. It doesn't need to be, climbing Mount Everest. When you are open, this is now the feminine divine, when you are open and when you allow yourself to be basically like a receptacle, you can hear divine speaking to you in your inner wisdom. So some of the things that close that openness are constantly keeping oneself full with food, full with drugs, full with TV, all those things prevent the divine wisdom from entering you, prevents people from hearing their own divine wisdom. So the biggest thing I'd recommend is setting up that space internally. And even though it's sometimes hard and scary to feel kind of empty like that, when you're awake and you have a little bit of emptiness in you, it creates space for divine wisdom to come in.
I think that's really good advice. What inspired you to do this work? Was there a moment when you were younger where you're like, no, I need to do this?
It's been a progression. I did know when I was 8 years old I have a drawing of a school assignment where I was asked to draw a picture of what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I drew a picture of myself on stage with a spiritual book. And so I always dreamed of speaking to a large audience and helping people feel good about themselves and seeing the spirit truths. But then I forgot about it, and I grew up and became an accountant and it kind of went down the path of what I thought I should be doing and really tried to fit the earthly mold and the American mold, and it did not work for me. And so I got out of that and became a social worker and psychotherapist, and that was much more suited for me because I was working with people's emotions and dealings, but that too was too restrictive. And so I had a few defining moments. One, there's an intuitive woman that I worked with, Sue Frederick. She's an author, wonderful numerologist and best-selling author. And she just practically had to shout it into me several times of what I am and how I'm an angel. And people have been telling me my entire life that I was an angel. But I thought it was just an endearing term, that they just meant I was a nice person or I don't know what. But then I started to notice some of my gifts, being able to sense people's energy, being able to determine their astrological sign, their numerology path, their Enneagram type. These are all personality typing systems. I started being able to identify that without even meeting the person. So I finally decided I'm not going to try to fit into what I think I should be doing or what society wants me to be doing. I'm going to use my gifts here. And that meant overcoming fears of criticism and rejection. And I'm actually working on my second book right now, which is about fear and courage, because we're all given certain gifts. And once I knew what I wasn't and I knew what I was, it was time to use them no matter what anyone thought. But mostly people are afraid of their own judgments. Most people are harder on themselves than other people. So it's just been my personal journey of trusting that what I have is real and of value in the world.
I think that's really good, because I think the listeners need to hear that, because it does take courage to follow your path, to take that leap of faith. I think that's really good with that.
Definitely.
And I want to talk a wee bit, because I know the time's going fast. I want to talk a bit about your videos. What inspired you to do your videos? Because they're wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, that was part of my dream when I was little, of being on the stage and on the screen. I've always wanted to reach a large audience. I do much better with a large audience than one-on-one. I mean, I work well one-on-one with people, but my passion is the reaching a large audience. And so I decided, I mean, fortunately, I was born in the time where, the internet is so prevalent. And so I realized, hey, I could create my own TV show, which I used to have an internet TV show. It's now just become the videos, which I put online for everyone to see. So with those, I'm able to use my creativity and planning and editing and all of that to bring my message. I really like to produce things that are engaging and entertaining and visually, because there are enough talking heads out there. So the videos are a great way for me to do that.
Excellent. And what's your, just to go back a bit, what's your definition of an angel?
Good question. My definition of an angel is someone who is, there are angels who are not not in human form. But the definition of an angel that I am is I am in human form. I am in this world, but not of it. So I was put in a human body to help raise the loving energy of this planet. And being in a human body allows me to do that in a way that that I wouldn't be able to if I weren't in a human body. Mm-hmm. So as a human, I'm able to be kind of a mover and a shaker. I can get things done. I can get things accomplished here. Present myself in a human way. But truly, what I am and what I'm here to do is to help people see themselves, who they really are, through that divine lens. And I can do that because I can see them that way. And I have abilities to teach people how to see themselves that way.
And for the audience, if you could give them advice, if someone's at a point right now, if they're where you were when you were an accountant and you knew this was not your path and you knew you need to make a change, what would you say to them? Like, what guidance would you give them?
I would tell them, first of all, everything you want is already here. It's here. You don't need to be afraid that you won't get what you want. And that's a faith and trust thing. It's sometimes very hard to see something when you've never experienced it. It's hard to believe that it can happen. It's hard to believe it's possible. But it's already here. And if you have the desire, that the divine has put it in you. It's because it's meant to manifest. If you desire, it is meant to manifest in the world. And there is nothing to fear. And I give anyone who's listening my promise. There is nothing to fear. You are meant to manifest it. There are actions you have to take to do it, but you must hold on to that faith and trust that you're meant to move forward and you're meant to fulfill your dream. It's not a question. It's what's supposed to happen.
With that, I think that's great. And because I know we're going quickly here, for our audience, how can they get a hold of you, or if they want to look up your work, how can they find you?
Sure. My website is www.heatherhans.com. Last name is spelled Hans. And on there they can find all of my contact information and social media sites, emails, phone numbers, everything. But that would be a good place to start, and it has a lot of content.
And what about your TV show, your videos and everything?
Those are on YouTube, so they can just look up Heather Hans on YouTube, and we put not all of them are on there, but there's a lot on there, and new ones come out every week. I also have a big Facebook page. I have over 300,000 fans on my Facebook page from all over the world, and we post really uplifting content on that, and the videos are posted to that page as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think it's great because I've been watching your work for a while, and I think it's wonderful what you're doing, because it does, to heal fear like that, I think it's so important for this world. I think it's really great.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate that.
Is there anything that you feel like you need to say to the audience?
My final words would be, you have a passion and a desire in you for more and for better, and that's in you for a reason, because you are meant to blossom and evolve and grow, and I just want everyone to know that they're on the right path. They're doing everything right, and just keep going.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for the interview, Heather.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay, everyone, before we get into the weekly readings, here are the other shows on Each Radio. The first one is Anne's Unsigned Rock Show, Mondays at a new time at 5 p.m. Atlantic. Stephen Lambert's Unsigned Madness on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Atlantic. And Chuck Scottsy's Boombox America at Wednesdays at 6:30 Atlantic. And you can find the shows at www.eghradio.com. For more information about EGH and Tracy and myself, please go to Twitter at EGH for Tracy, Reiki with a twist. Eye of the East Coast is at Eye of the East Coast, and mine is just at Kalina. On Facebook, it's under EGH Radio. Tracy's is Reiki with a twist. Our radio show, Eye of the East Coast, is on Facebook, and Kalina's Psychic Readings. Okay, so for the weekly readings, starting with Aries, and this is for the week of September 7th to September 13th, 2014, sorry. Okay, Aries. Okay, Aries, it's just a week to have fun. They're showing it's a week with abundance and good news coming your way. They're also asking you to stay outside a little bit more, especially with trees, to connect more with nature. Taurus, this is a week to be still and to think. They're also focusing a wee bit on science, maybe go to the planetarium or a lecture. Gemini, they're focusing on for you to focus on what you have, and please don't worry about what you don't have at this moment. Things are going to line up, just be in the moment. Cancer, they're asking you to be very careful with communications. Just be very clear where you're coming from, and if you think anyone's assuming the truth, or if you feel that you don't know the truth and you're assuming, ask. They're also asking you to write a bit more. Leos, they're focusing on a positive change or news of a positive change. There may even be talk of a move or an opportunity at work about a move or promotion. Virgo, this is a week to be still and let things balance. They're just making me feel you need to rest this week. Libra, they're focusing on romance, and they're focusing on happy news coming your way. Scorpio, they're focusing on a celebration. There's something you're going to be very pleased about, and there's also an energy about work. A project's going to go better than what you thought. Sagittarius, they're focusing on, this is a week to be still and to plan. This is not a week to take action. They're also focusing a little bit on ancestors. Capricorn, they're focusing on connecting more with family, female heads, like for example, your mom or your grandma. There's something here that you're going to gain wisdom by when you're speaking with them, and they're also making me feel you're going to understand a parent more. She's saying you're going to understand a parent better than before. Aquarius, you need to rest and be still. You may find some of the energy is a little bit up, but that's okay. Just kind of clear it. It might be a good time to burn some incense. And then for Pisces, this is a week of divine intervention. Something that may feel or appear to be a disappointment or stress will actually be a blessing in disguise. Just kind of go with it, because they're just making me feel this is divine intervention and it will work out. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for listening to us on Eye of the East Coast, and everyone take care.